Hi, I'm Josh Harris, Associate State Director for AARP Illinois. We're so glad to welcome you to this exciting event. AARP knows this pandemic has been trying on us all, threatening the health and financial security of millions of Americans 50 plus. That's why it is our pleasure to bring you this night of levity, some fine art, and great music to help us all recharge, connect, and address some of the social isolation we know people are feeling at this time. It's our way of reminding you that AARP Illinois is here for you.
Hi, my name is Monica Haslip. I'm the founder and executive director of Little Black Pearl.
Hi, I'm Lizz Wright. I am the general manager and chef here at Carver 47. Welcome to the Bronzeville Art District Trolley Tour.
So I started Little Black Pearl about 26 years ago in the basement of my home on 42nd and Drexel Boulevard in the Bronzeville community. My main objective for Little Black Pearl was to help young people make the connection between art, education, and business. And so I consider Little Black Pearl a pretty complex ecosystem. We provide a lot of different opportunities for artists, for students, and for community members to both engage in art through classes and workshops, but also we provide a variety of different experiences at Little Black Pearl. And they range from outdoor festivals to after-school programs, and Carver 47, which is our new project that we're preparing to open here in the community.
We initially opened Carver 47 in July of 2017, and it was a wonderful experiment, and at that time was called the Carver 47 Juice and Experiment Bar. And we really did it to pay homage to Dr. George Washington Carver, the great American botanist, humanitarian, artist, and lover of people, lover of the earth. And we really wanted to celebrate his full legacy. And by researching him, we ended up figuring out how we wanted to build out the menu. And Monica is an incredible designer. And so she found ways to build his narrative into the cafe experience.
Yeah, and when I first started talking to Liz about Carver 47, it really came out of some work that I was doing with the W.K. Kellogg Foundation around racial healing. And a part of that work connects to what's called truth, racial healing, and transformation. And there's a narrative component of that work, narrative change. And the goal for me was to explore whether or not you could create an opportunity for people to have an experience that changed their minds and opened their minds to the narrative of an African American icon. And so typically we think about that in relationship to sort of media or sharing stories, but I had never really had an experience that really focused on inviting people to expand their ideas about a person. And so Carver 47 became an opportunity to demonstrate that you can do that. You can create spaces that invite people to learn more and to expand their understanding of the value that African Americans have made and contributed to all parts of society. And Dr. Carver just was an incredible person to focus on and to highlight. And my relationship with Liz around this idea with food is connected through our experience of both growing up in the South.
Yes, both our dads were gardeners.
Yeah.
And actually, we didn't grow up together, but both our fathers happened to be named Benny. And they both have this habit, we discovered, of growing an abundance of food in the yard and putting it in trucks and just giving it away. So this is really a return to where we come from, and we feel very connected to Dr. Carver's legacy. Some of the things that people know not as much about Dr. Carver is that he would go around and show farmers how to do crop rotation so that you could replenish the soil. He showed people like how to grow food that have more of a yield but took up less space. He talked about alternative fuel. He was really close friends with Henry Ford. There was a time when actually he came to visit him, and they had like a little wild lunch of like wild harvested things. And Henry Ford just adored him. Actually, there was a like a lab or a workspace there at the plant, actually named after Dr. Carver. He was also friends with Roosevelt, with Mahatma Gandhi, and it was said of him by Einstein that he was one of the greatest scientists of his time. But if you find his writings, you can see that Dr. Carver really loved people, and he loved nature, and he believed that he was connected to everybody. But he lived in such a rough time.
Yeah. And I think the other part is I was really sort of disheartened with how his legacy was reduced to him being the peanut man. Yeah. That's what people know of such an extraordinary person. So the idea that we could use this place to teach people that he was an incredible artist. Mm-hmm. He was an amazing musician
and painter,
and he did so many other things that go so far beyond our understanding. And so the point is to use this as an example of ways that we can not only build business and grow work opportunities in our communities, find ways to connect back to the earth by offering healthy food in our community, but also making sure that we are bringing forward history in the right way, where the narrative becomes in alignment with the greatness of the people that we should be celebrating in a much more expanded way. So this idea of combining Lizz's gifts as a chef, along with my goal of using design as a vehicle to bring a diverse group of people into one space, really kind of became sort of the intention of Carver 47. Yeah. And we will, continue to grow that vision by inviting local artists to sell their work here. We will have a market in the cafe which will bring to the community fresh produce, but also home goods and things that people have an opportunity to find only in this place. I will do a little bit of art where I'll get a chance to sell some of my artwork that I haven't had an opportunity to do in 20 years. So I'm looking forward to doing that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And we're so excited. As she said, we have the market, we have a coffee bar, we have beautiful menu of quick sell items, sandwiches, flatbreads, breakfast all day, waffles, buttermilk biscuits that are made from scratch. But we also now, in this time of COVID, have been inspired to help people box up the Carver experience and take it home and unpack it and play with your food and play with decor and really enjoy where you have to be now, which is home. It's like right now the safest place to socialize. And so we really are playing with the idea of how to pack the goodness and help people have fun unpacking it and exploring their home experience, because that's where we are. So we're doing our best to use our imaginations, just like Dr. Carver, and being positive and really trying to let the needs that we all share at this time drive our imagination and our curiosity to make better things, make interesting things, and to take care of each other.
Yeah. And find ways to address things that are obvious needs, like, delivering food to our community, having our partnership with many where they're donating cars and allowing us to deliver these meals to our customers. And just, finding really beautiful ways to share with the community how much we love and care for the people that are around us.
Yeah. We also have a great opportunity to invite local farmers to have their stories and their products be shared with the community. They're a vital part of our well-being and economy, and we just really want to take care of them and share their beautiful work. So
this is like the new remixed version of Carver 47. And it's very much tied to the larger body of work at Little Black Pearl. Our goal is to, make sure that we provide the best offering that we can to the community in relationship to art, business, and education. We have a high school here on site, and so many of our students hopefully will have a chance to work here in the cafe too. So we're trying to integrate all the things that we have done and will continue to do to lift up and empower the community.
My whole childhood, actually, music and food were integrated. We lived on a couple of acres, and the garden was about a half acre. My father grew everything, just melons and okra and squash, cucumber, lettuce, salad greens, persimmons, plums, grapes. It was exhausting. And it was our job as the kids to harvest everything and clean everything. And we had a life where we really depended on ourselves. But I learned as I got a little older that my family's been growing food and having, their own provision in this way for, generations back, well into slavery. Like we knew how to work with the earth. So that part has been very strongly embedded in my life. And there's something about, being in a family that works like that. It's a very musical experience. And so everybody sings. My brother plays drums, my sister sings, my father sings, my mother sings. And I grew up just soaked up, with like music, and my dad's a minister. So, running a small storefront church for my dad was probably pretty similar to, what it takes to run a small farm. Like everybody had a job. I was teaching Sunday school and occasionally preaching. I don't know, I had a weird teenage life, but anyway, food and music were always swirled together. So when I was signed to Verve Records at, I think I was 20 or 21, I started touring, and I just thought, well, I'll find a way to sing, and maybe I just don't have to say God all the time, but I still want to minister to people. I still want to take care of them. So, it's now been 22 years that I've been in the music business. I will always be a musician. I think what I learned, too, when I took off, in 2009, by the way, I took off almost a year, about 9 months to just study food. I went to the Natural Gourmet Institute in New York. It's there in the Flatiron District, and it's founded by Anna Marie Colbin, a Dutch woman who taught a lot about food being medicine and being an art form. And after I did that, I just thought, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be like a rock star housewife maybe. But I never stopped making music. And I realized one day in the kitchen when we were cooking for a party that Dr. Colbin was hosting that I'm better as a cook when I sing. And it all comes together, and I understand the same rules of like theory and composition that work in music. They do work in food. It just requires some translation. So I think, I'm figuring out how to exist in this culinary world. But I'm excited. We're building a great team of people who've been in the food industry for a long time, and they love it. And they're teaching me like the technical terms for this kind of thing I've been feeling my way through. But they've always been intertwined, music and food for me. So I'm just glad I have some place to celebrate them both. I would describe this menu as a combination of inspiration from the Southern family garden, both our fathers, growing food.
Yeah.
And also, 20-something years of touring Europe and eating, food from bistros. It's really fascinating, like how delicious and beautiful the convenient food is in Europe at different places. I remember having I can't remember the name of it. I had a basil, mozzarella and tomato sandwich from a gas station in Italy, and it blew my mind. It took a long time, but it blew my mind when I had it. I remember being on the bus and watching the sunset. We were driving, and the melting cheese, and just the bread, the sound of the bread. And I just thought, man, I really want to have this experience of food at home. I want to go back to like taking time. So in both the South, where we're from, and in Europe, the European food tradition too, you take time, and food is really beautiful. So, yeah. Our dinner boxes are weekly, and they always feature 2 starches, a green, a grain, and a featured protein, or an alternative to that protein. And we serve them for people of, parties of 2, 4, or 6 to 8. But we also have wonderful grain bowls, and we have the same grain featured in those bowls. So one person can have a beautiful, wonderful, hearty bowl and really enjoy themselves. So we really are trying to, this is definitely home-style cooking, but it's the kind of home-style cooking that's meant to make everybody at the table really comfortable. We're always super happy to make vegetarian versions of everything, and also to make those people who really love animal proteins very happy as well, because we all live together with these different opinions and perspectives and appetites. We are family and we sit at the same table. So I love the challenge of trying to cook for the family. So we are very excited. Our first dinner box is called the Gratitude Box. Everybody has mixed feelings about how to refer to Thanksgiving and what everybody's doing. So we're like, you know what? This is time to give thanks and be together. So we're going to call this a Gratitude Box. And the Gratitude Box features, for those who love animal protein, a choice of roasted like lamb or roasted pork loin, along with cauliflower cacio de pepe. Now, that kind of mimics an Italian comfort food of like pasta with this beautiful cheese and pepper, but it's actually cauliflower and there is cheese as well, and we have a roux to make it really creamy. But it will remind you of mac and cheese.
Yes.
With like white cheddar. And it is
Very
very
good.
rich and it is really delicious.
It's very good.
And we also have a beautiful pumpkin puree that I like to serve because I'm just kind of, I'm a little bit kitschy. I like to serve it in a roasted pumpkin with like the lid just on the side. And we have also really beautiful kale greens and pomegranates. So we're also able to customize the order. If you need to get items a la carte, we're very happy to work with you. And we're also really excited. The first 40 orders, we want to give people the option of having those delivered in some very beautiful cars. We will tell you about them.
Yeah, I mean, we have had the pleasure of being in partnership with Mini Cooper for, almost a decade now. They've been really great partners to us, and we talked to them about really this moment where we're all really trying to figure out what to do, how to access food, and sort of work with them to. They're going to provide cars for us to do free delivery for our first 40 meal plan customers for the next few months. And so any customer that sort of signs up for a meal plan, we will deliver your meal to you once a week, supported by Mini Cooper. Mm-hmm. And they just have stepped up as they normally do. We talked about really just the discomfort that people have with moving around these days. And so you will see some really cool, fabulous designed Mini Coopers moving around the community. And they'll have images of Dr. Carver. So you'll be able to identify the Carver 47 delivery as we move through the community to support all of the folk that are coming into this space, buying both food and home goods. Because the other thing that we want to do is to make sure that people have, since you can't be with us here at Carver 47, we want you to have the Carver 47 experience at home. Mm-hmm. And so they'll have a chance to really buy some really cool product like tea kettles and the normal things that Liz uses in the space that has kind of provided that special and unique energy in the space. People will be able to take that stuff home, and we'll be able to deliver it to you in the Mini Coopers. And we're going to try to make that a fun experience and one that's really an extension of this place. So the people that are delivering, we don't envision them just being deliverers. They are going to be your connection to us, like a concierge. I mean, we want to make sure that you feel our connection to you, even in the absence of being able to spend time with us here in the cafe. So we're really looking forward to that part, and really appreciate Minnie for stepping up and being a part of this experience with us.
We have really fallen in love with our neighbors. We really appreciate them, and they've given us some really great feedback from when we were open before. So we know that we cannot dare open without that chicken salad. We know that we have to have our flatbread game on ready, and those buttermilk biscuits have to be coming on with it, and really just all the things that they really came to love.
And we have bottled juices, which is so cool.
I was going to say. I mean, one of the biggest
Yeah.
complaints that we had was like when people were short on time, we weren't always able to get them what they needed in the pace of their day, in their life. So I'm very excited. We do have now the opportunity to bottle juices, so that when your situation is grab and go, you don't have to feel judgment about that and feel uncomfortable. Do grab and go. We found ways to bring our best offerings to that moment as well. Yeah. And then you can choose when you want to take your time with your food. So we're excited for all that the community has taught us actually about how to take care of them. This is a beautiful, very responsive neighborhood, and they teach you how to really have a business that serves them. And I really appreciate that. It really gives us a chance to grow.
Yeah, and we spend a lot of time really trying to be thoughtful about how we want people to feel. Mm-hmm. This is not just about food. It's about service. It's about generosity. It's about kindness. It's about giving. And so we want that to sort of move through every aspect of this Carver 47 experience. And so we've used every relationship, every resource that we have in a time where people are really struggling with this virus, to say to our neighbors that we are thinking of you, we care about you, we love you, we want you to be able to sort of be relieved of some of the concerns that you might normally have around food and around access to food and around being able to come to one place and get flowers and get olive oil or tea. You'll be able to get all of these things in Carver 47, so you can sort of have a one-stop experience without having to go to a lot of different places. So we're looking forward to doing that, because I think that that's what we deserve now. Everybody, please come out. The address is 1050 East 47th Street. Opening day, November 24th, 7 to 7. Come hang out with us. It's going to be a lot of fun.